Hello, hello. How are you? Michael, is that a long tie? It's a long tie, not a bow tie. All right.
Yeah, I just got done with a mock interview.
Nice. How did it go?
It went good.
Good.
So
Nice. All right. So Evan, did you already do the live transcript?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
Before I forgot.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep, that's great. Hey, Bester. How are you, man? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear.
Oh, okay. Okay. There are two of you. Man, I'll tell you what, that Bester, he shows up twice.
Oh yeah, I should take out the other one. I think the link was not getting me connected.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, so one of them is audio and the other is visual. Nice. I'll tell you what, that Bester, he shows up twice. Be careful, everybody. That's what you're up against. This guy shows up twice. All right. Brandy, you there? I know you're here somewhere, as it says.
I'm here.
All right, good. All right. I'll take your lead on when to start. How's that? I'm gonna let you guys monitor a little bit of the entrance. I just want to be mindful of everybody's time. We have an hour blocked, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, I don't think we definitely do not need an hour. So you get some of that time back, but I'm also happy to spend the hour just to answer some questions because, the accelerators program we take very seriously at the Simone Center. It involves, competitive application. It involves money. It involves full time. So, serious stuff. And we're happy about that. So we had a good number of people sign up for the session, but at 12:02, first thing I'll tell you is I'm inclined that, when we start a session at 12, we start at 12. So that's just by personality. You might as well get used to that. Brandy, I will let you let me know when we can kick it off. I think it looks like we just got another person came into the room, 13 now.
Yeah, I think we're gonna, wait a couple more minutes, like 12:05 start, just in case if there anyone's coming from another class or grab.
All right, then why don't we do this? Everybody, if you need like break, grab water, grab something, we'll start at 12:05. So anybody that is here, I'm gonna ask you to come into the room. If you got video, please use it. But let's start up at 12:05 then. So if anybody needs a break for a minute, you can have it. We'll start up at 12:05. In fact, I might take that opportunity right now and grab a glass of water. Tell you what, that Brandy, she's got good instincts. Wait a couple of minutes. There you go.
Got three more.
Brandy. What's that? No,
We got three more.
well, if you subtract us out, that's 30%. Evan, did I ever put you in touch with those two folks that I mentioned for the mindset series, for the speaker series? Did I ever put you in touch with them?
No, you did send
Okay.
me in a contact card late last night that we
Gotcha.
haven't touched base on.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's do that soon. Thank you.
But yes, thank you.
It's 12:05.
All right,
Go ahead.
Randy, we're at 12:05. What do you
Go
say?
right ahead, sir. Go right ahead.
All right, let's do this. Okay, well, so welcome to a special open house for the RIT Student Accelerator, also known as the SA. Student Accelerator is a flagship. I don't want to say the flagship because that sounds exclusionary to other amazing programs that are available to you, but it is a flagship, competitive, funded program where you can get a a living stipend and a prototyping fund, $50,000 worth of coaching services, cash to accelerate, right? What an accelerator is, a business idea that you've been working on for at least 90 days. So we like to say at least 3 months, 6 months. Got to come in. It's a competitive application. And what the accelerator is meant to do and meant to provide is an experience that you can come in with an idea, work on it with us full time. Money is available to you. As I said, co-op credit is available to you, and you spend full time on it. So think about it like this. It's like doing a co-op for yourself. Okay. So just as a traditional co-op would be, hey, I'm going into somebody else's company with their idea, their intellectual property, and I'm advancing it for money. This is, and when it was created, and by the way, it's still among a small handful of programs in the country, but when it was created, it was really, the only one of its kind where students got money to advance their own ideas. RIT does not take a stake in your idea. If it's your intellectual property, it's your idea. It is your intellectual property, your business, no stake. And that's rare. I mean, I will just tell you as an early stage funder myself, right? I can't fund your programs, but someday when you're outside of, RIT and you say, hey, listen, AT, we work together on, thus and such. And I've got this new idea and I want some angel investment from you. That's completely on the table, that kind of stuff. So obviously I can't touch RIT teams because I am the director of commercialization training, and that's why I'm here to talk to you today. So that just gives you a little bit of a sense of the overview of today. So if this is the meeting you signed up for, you're in the right place. If that sounds like something that is completely foreign to you or not germane to your life, then you are in the wrong room. So I am Anthony Testa, as I said, Director of Commercialization Training at the Simone Center, class of 96, MBA out of Saunders. I am a trained economist and software engineer, biochemist, and I have an undergraduate degree in psychology as well. So really broad background. Quite frankly, what that's led me to over the years is being a really good general manager, but I'm not deep in any one thing. And so everybody's got their place. Mine is, quite frankly, nowadays as a general manager and investor, and I like to help students, love to help students, my fellow Tigers. You are my future alumni connections. I am your future alumni connection, and the people that we bring into the programs to talk and help you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This is near and dear to my heart. I'm very passionate about it. I want people to work on stuff. Honestly, if you're not really interested in working hard on your own ideas, it's not the place for you. If it's one of those things where you're like, hey, I kind of like the traditional model, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this as a student. Hey, I like the idea of you come into a class, I'm the customer, I pay for a class, professors and guests give us knowledge, and I take exams and I write papers. That is absolutely awesome. And it is what we do at RIT. What we do in the accelerator is a different kind of experience. So it sits obviously on an academic campus. So it's still considered an academic program. So we have sessions that you come to. You'll learn how to write a pitch deck. You'll learn how to talk to customers about your idea. You'll learn how to advance commercially. And I'll give you some examples before you leave today of companies that right now are in market, running companies, raising money, getting alpha, beta testers, running their companies with real customers. I mean, just all along the way. We've been doing this since 2011. Evan, in the spring, what is that? Is that cohort 17?
16 technically.
Is it 16? Okay, so we have cohort 16 starting up. I trust you, Evan, whatever you say.
I wouldn't.
So we will start cohort 16 in the spring. And so really exciting. I mean, this is just like, I love this stuff. I'm such a startup crazy person. So you got to meet me. Evan, you're already on camera. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Evan Verche. I'm the marketing and project coordinator at the Simone Center. Basically, I help run the accelerator and our NSF funded programs, including regional courses, innovation fellows, and a few other things. So that's me.
Brandy? Oh, there she is.
Hi, I'm Brandy Madeira, class of 2014. I am the marketing and project manager for the Simone Center. So if you saw any email come out about this workshop, it was from me. So any materials.
Brandy, you're gone. Your audio was bad to begin with, and then it got worse. So, all right. Well, anyway, that's Brandy. And hi, I'm Brandy, and I'm awesome, and I do lots of awesome stuff with Evan, and we're great. Yeah, exactly. There you go, rock star. So, so I think the reality is that, you know, I've given you a little bit of an overview. This is how this works, right? And I think it's important that you immediately start thinking about your best idea, something you want to focus on. You know, by nature, right? And I'm going to just call us all entrepreneurs in the room, right? People that are innovation minded, want to run something. The entire purpose here is to let you work on your own idea because it's something that you're passionate about, right? You've got a fire in the belly. You're thinking, this is something I want to do. This is a great opportunity before I leave RIT. And quite frankly, I always tell people, if you leave RIT without working on your own idea for at least one, semester, one cohort, one block, you've kind of lost an opportunity as far as I'm concerned. I think you should take it if it's something that interests you. Now, if you're like, hey, listen, I want to be, an engineer of some kind, a design thinker, a creator, and this is the job I want, and this is the company I want to go work for, that's totally great. God bless you. I think that's awesome. Do what you got to do. This is for folks that are like, I've got an idea, I want to advance it. And we'll talk about a couple of other ways to do that before we leave. But I just want to let you know that I feel very passionate about this in terms of, you've got to take advantage of this before you leave campus. You just do. So the fact that you're here, you're already thinking about it. It's a competitive application. So I want you to start thinking about it now for the spring. It's why on, September 17th, we're talking about the spring cohort. It's because it's going to take you some time. You're going to want to already, be thinking through the idea, thinking through the business model. There is an application. Evan, I don't know whether you're going to use a jot form this time, or whether you're just going to provide the link to the application, but we will provide a link in the chat. Before you leave, you should absolutely be, submitting an application. There is a format that you need to follow. All the instructions are there. We've made it very simple, but you're going to want to start thinking through it today because it's competitive, because there are limited slots, and because there's just limited funding. We just encourage you to really think through it, put your, best foot forward, and really, put some thought into the application. So that's the quick version. What are some questions that were in your head? Like when you saw this come through, you're like, oh, that seems really interesting. I want to go to this info session. Why are you here? What can I answer for you? Anything right off the bat? Thomas, you look like you have something. I could see you thinking. Go ahead, Thomas. What do you got?
I do, and I'm really trying to narrow it down to one question.
You're also on mute. I don't know why. I saw you come off of mute, but I can't hear you.
I think that's a you problem, AT. I can hear him fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, no, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right,
I don't know.
sweet. So one question that I have is for the application side of things. How much of this is going to be entirely paperwork based? How much of it is going to be a presentation? Is there a presentation involved?
Ah, interesting. You mean, so when you come in to interview?
Yes.
Yeah, so some and some, absolutely. So you submit the application on the Simone Center website, follow that format. You know, we tell you exactly what to present. There's a format for the deck, and then we call you in, Thomas, with your team. So it's important. I love that you asked that question because it's a really great, right? So there's the link in the chat, RIT.edu Research Simone Center Accelerator. Everything you need to know is right there. You fill that out ahead of time. We say, all right, Thomas, you and your team are coming in. You have to come in with a fully formed team. That's an important distinction about this program. There are no one-person teams. Minimum of 2. 3 is a good number. 4 is a good number. 3 and 4 people are really the success factor here. And the reason that is the case is it's a lot of work. And you're going to find out one of the things that, you know, we like to stress to first-time entrepreneurs, or maybe it's not your first time, is, you know, it really does take a full team, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, you go with a team. And the reality is that we're also trying to just give you that experience of, all right, how do I work with others? How do I manage this? You know, you're talking about, hopefully, you know, real money, real heartbeats here. You know, how do you do this in such a way that you can come in with that fully formed idea, fully formed team? And so, yeah, we want to meet all of you. And so that's, you know, that's another thing to consider. You have an idea today, right? Do you have a team already? Okay, great. So no. Okay. So I'm going to use you as the example, Thomas, right? Great example. So Thomas has an idea. Tom is like, I think this is really something. I see this commercial application. I know how it would work. Boy, oh boy, everybody has this problem, right? And in the meantime, right now, I'd be talking to people. I'd be saying, hey, listen, here's the problem. This is what I'm trying to solve, right? There is a way to do that interview without what's called leading the witness, without, you know, keeping it very high level. Don't disclose your IP, obviously, your secret sauce. But the reason that I want to talk about this and the team aspect is we'll teach you in the accelerator the actual tried and true method of what's called customer discovery. Got to do 200 interviews, right? You got 2 deliverables for demo night, 200 interviews and a working prototype of some kind. And we help you through all that. So for some people, it's like, well, you know, I can't develop the software yet because I can't develop full scale hardware because, but you can absolutely, whether it's Figma, whether it's, you know, a piece of hardware, you can absolutely be doing both of those things. So 200 interviews, some customer discovery, some solution interviews, and a working prototype. Okay. Why is that important to start circulating that idea right now? You want to see if it's got some traction, right? At the end of the day, if you can't convince 3 other people to come into a program, get co-op credit, and get paid to advance an idea for themselves, like to start up the company with you, that should say a lot about your idea. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, and I'm not saying that, you know, like every idea, like if you don't get some traction from a group of people, you know, that it's not a good idea. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, watch how hard it is when you're saying, hey, you should join me on this adventure. This is going to be awesome. I'll give you an ownership stake and we're going to get paid. And they're like, yeah, no, thanks, Thomas. That says a lot, right? So I call that the friend market. So you go to the friend market first and you get a small team put together. After you get your small team put together from the friend market, then you go to the money market. And the money market will say, hey, that's great. I'm glad you got a few friends that are doing this with you. Who cares about it? Well, that's why we're teaching you, right? You bring in the friend market part, and then we teach you in the middle part in the accelerator how to go out, test market desirability, figure out if there's a market. Is it big enough to spend our heartbeats and our time on? If it is, then the money market will say, okay, here's some funding. I see there's a commercial opportunity. And then eventually you go out to the consumer market and say, hey, we've built something, right? So you go to pitch a few friends, bring in 3 to 4 people, right? Then you come in, we help you work on a pitch that obviously is looking towards and doing some investigation in the consumer marketplace, but we have to convince people to get on board, be part of our network, be part of our board of directors, be those early adopters, be some alpha or beta testers. And then eventually we go out there and we launch our product. There's a whole process and we teach you that process. You can use that process, by the way, even if you said, Yeah, but I just want to be a software engineer at Google. Guess what? If you want to make money as a software engineer at Google, you also have to understand how to launch a product or a new business or a service. You absolutely do. Oh, hey, I want to be a design, thinking analyst at, this not-for-profit. Great. You have to convince other people to part with checks so that you can fulfill your mission, so that you could do more good work and get that organization bigger. The process is repeatable, and that is the student part, right? That's the part that we're not expecting you to get to the end. I just want to be really clear. We're not looking at the idea saying, oh man, this is the next giant idea. This is how this is going to work. We know it'll work. Remember, even with the best of support, even with money, sometimes businesses don't make it. In fact, oftentimes businesses don't make it. Or you wind up starting with, like path A, and you pivot, what's called a pivot, and you wind up going path B, right? So these are all things that we're going to teach you how to do. And we're going to show you that path. That way, whether you're an entrepreneur, right? We call an entrepreneur that somebody that does this for themselves externally, or an intrapreneur, somebody that's an internal innovator at a big company, or even a small company that's coming up with new products or services. The process is the same. Okay. So that's the student part. That's why we're so passionate about it, because quite frankly, you're going to need this, whether you, do it for yourself or whether you're doing it inside an existing company. So that's the process. So Thomas, thank you for kind of asking that question. I think it's a really great question. So again, application, then with that application, you come in, you do a presentation. We do a little quick back and forth. Evan, what do we do? About a half-hour presentation, right?
Yes,
Half-hour
we schedule
Q&A?
30-minute presentations. You guys have, I believe, 8 minutes to pitch,
Yeah.
and then the rest is Q&A and just
Yeah.
chatting.
Yeah, because we just want to make sure, the one thing that you could do ahead of time is when you're talking to your friends, right? That group of people that's going to come in as part of your team. First thing you could do that really softens the ground is check with your co-op advisor, check with your home department, check with your academic advisor. This is a very well-known program at RIT. Nobody's going to say, oh, I've never heard of the accelerator. They've heard of the accelerator. It's just they might not be used to, you know what? I've never had one of my advisees ask for this. So check with those three constituencies, right? Co-op advisor, academic advisor, home department. If you're doing those things, then you're going to come right into that interview and say, yep, no problem. I'm already pre-approved. People are, ready for, ready for the application. It's already ready to go. So because it is a full-time program. So no other activities while you're doing this, and activities. You want to go do intramurals or something, that's fine. You got, that's, I don't mean that. But you got to treat it like a job, right? Because it is competitive. Bless you, Charles. So, all right. You're welcome. All right. What do we got? Anything? No question is too silly. Ask the question. Ask it here. Everybody's got one. Don't feel like you can't ask it. Arsh, did you have a question? Go ahead, Arsh.
Yeah. I want to know whether the Student Accelerator program happens during summer.
It happens all year round. Now, I will tell you, Arsh, that gets asked a lot. Let me caution you that it is the biggest cohort. And we only have so much room in terms of number of coaches and space. So everybody says, oh, good, it happens in the summer, so I'll apply in the summer. I'm telling you, that is not the way necessarily to think about it. If that's the only time you have over the next couple of years, well, then you got to do what you got to do. But it absolutely happens year round, spring, summer, and fall. 3 cohorts a year, 15 weeks on average, that kind of thing, 14 weeks on average.
And one quick thing to add is we always open up applications for 2 semesters ahead. So if you are that serious about the summer, Arsh, you can apply right now for the summer accelerator.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, get ahead of it. And by the way, remember, what we want is folks that are working on this idea. It needs to be a serious idea. This is not, one of those things like, oh, hey, I'd like something to do in the spring. I'd like something to do in the fall. Nope, don't think about it that way. I want to see commitment. And I will tell you, I'm going to put my investor hat on for just a second and tell you, I can tell when you're serious. And by the way, it's a program that's paid. I consider it, near and dear to my heart as a donor. I'm going to talk to you now as a donor. This is donor money that supports these, right? Can I have permission to record? Yes, this is actually being recorded, Samira, just so you know. So we will send out the link to this. So you don't have to record. It's already being recorded. Because I don't know when you came in either. I'm not watching. Yep, you got it. And I know, Panaki, you had a question. I'll get to that in just a second. I take this very, very seriously about being a good steward of donor money and my time and your time. So I just want people, to come in, with a serious attitude. I don't care what the idea is. So I know we've got a bunch of stuff in the chat, which is good. I hope I answered that question sufficiently. Ask a follow-up if you need. Absolutely, we've got the summer happening, but this is not, this is one of those things that without the passion, I'm telling you, starting your own business is hard. It is really hard. Now, there's a reason people do it. Lots of reasons people do it. And I will tell you, it's not because they want the easy way out. It is not. It is not the easy path, but it's an awesome path. And we can talk about that, maybe at the end. Evan, can you help me with what's in there? I think Panaki was maybe the next.
I was just about to stop you. I can't see the chat. My computer's doing the weird thing again.
Oh, good. I'm glad about that. Good. So I hope that happens
here,
for me
I just can't help you in that regard.
Yes, there you go. Gotcha. Okay, so
I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, sure you didn't. Yeah, anyway, don't worry about it. As long as it's still being recorded, whatever. If it turns out to be two links, like for some reason, Zoom has been very glitchy this week. I don't know if anybody else has experienced it. We had the problem in the speaker series the other day. It's been weird. Okay, should all the team members be RIT students? Great question, Panaki. We have had students from other universities participate. We cannot pay them. They must be a student in good standing, academically, in good financial standing. And generally that's the thing, right? Obviously you have to, pass the admissions committee here, but the easiest way to answer that is no. We've had John Carroll University students, University of Rochester students, SUNY Geneseo students. Evan, forgetting anybody?
Non-students that are not associated with universities.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and that's true. Actually, right. Some other alumni, we just had a team that actually had already graduated. So they were already post-graduation and they participated for free. In other words, they came in and they're like, yeah, I'll take all that coaching, and they had an alumnus on the team. And so the alumnus was the RIT connection. And we ran that as an experiment. One of the best teams, most successful teams we ever had, because quite frankly, they weren't doing it for the money. They needed the help. And it was actually pretty cool. So, I mean, just, you talk about folks that are like, yeah, I'll sit in a session a few times a week for a few hours because I'm serious about it. That's pretty cool. And they're right now out raising money, getting alpha testers in Pennsylvania. Drove from California, met me here for dinner on Sunday night, drove to Pennsylvania the next day for a pitch competition with 6 funders, and then went the next day to a trade show. I mean, like those are the kinds of folks that are in these programs. Okay. So Panaki, I hope that answers that question. Not all team members need to be RIT students. We can only pay RIT students in good standing. On that note, there are students, right? They're like, oh my, you're kidding me. It's like, I'm about to graduate. We have had students with permission of their home department, with the co-op office. We have had students delay graduation just to participate. Okay, that's how important it is to them. So just keep that in mind. There's lots of mechanisms. So that's the best way to explain that. Yes, you can have team members outside of RIT. We just can't pay them. All right, John De Silva, how are you? Good to see you here. If a student's team is successful, then does that mean that the students can then go through venture program at RIT? So there is something, it's a good question, John. There is no guarantee of a next step anywhere. By the way, that includes commercial, accelerators as well. Been involved with commercial accelerators for a long time. Obviously, this is a student accelerator. The reason it's a student accelerator is it exists on our campus. You also get all of the, what I'll call intellectual property protections that are afforded students. That is, you get to keep your intellectual property. If it's your idea, it's yours. RIT does not take a stake in it, right? There are, exceptions to that, obviously, where, for example, you got some funding from NASA, and you worked on that project and it's NASA's idea. Well, then that's not your idea, right? But if you came up with something that you're like, the target customer is aerospace companies, and this is what I came up with, and I came up with myself, and this project that I was working on gave me this idea, and now I've been working on it for 6 months, it's your IP. That's yours. Okay. So I just want to talk about that because there is no guaranteed next step. You can absolutely, after you've gone through what's called the 1.0 program, which is what we're talking about here today, you can get advanced coaching in what's called the Accelerator 2.0. And that is a bridge to a commercial accelerator. It's a bridge to venture creations. It's a bridge to other programs outside of RIT where we say, hey, you're ready to go. You should go as fast as you can. You've got interest in the investor market, that money market that we talked about earlier. You're past an idea. Go. You've got some people that you should be putting in a test. So that's the best way to answer that, John. I hope that helps. If not, please ask a follow-up, of course. Anna Chamberlain. I want to open my own bakery. Does that still fall under this program? I will listen to anything, Anna Chamberlain. Bakeries are near and dear to my heart. I love to eat. I have funded food ideas. I have a couple of trademarks in food companies. I'm just speaking for myself. Does that mean that it doesn't, that it falls under, like what other people on the committee would say, Anna and her team have, passion about it. They want to work on it together. They've got some idea of scale. It just depends. So I'd have to hear a little bit more about it, but let me tell you, I don't care if it's a not-for-profit. I don't care if it's a bakery. Don't limit yourself, right? Good. First rule of brainstorming is don't start to modify your ideas. If it's something you're passionate about, I want to help you. If this isn't the right program for it, maybe it should be an applied entrepreneurship. Maybe it should be an innovation fellows. Those are all things that we could talk about, but absolutely, Anna, do not limit yourself. Use the rule of brainstorming. Don't disqualify yourself. Okay. You make sure you apply. By the way, I think it's good practice to go through the application process. Think through why you're doing it. How are you going to make money? Who's the target market? What's the scale look like? Right. I mean, the big issue almost in any of this, I wish I could remember his name. I'm blanking on it. It was an entrepreneur that basically said, that when I really became a business person was when I bought my second location. I realized all the efficiencies, how it fits together, how to make it scale. And then, so it was somebody in the franchise business, like a Subway type of an operation, a national, international scale. And they said, yeah, the first one, I just learned how to deliver things. The second one, I learned how to think a little bigger. The third one made me think about how to serve the world, right? It's that same idea. It's that generation. So Anna, you never know where it's going to go, but absolutely falls under this program. You bet. Michael Dreyer. What if I have a team working on a prototype and working with target customers already who are expecting to work with us on the prototype? Great. Sounds good. If you feel like the only, obviously this would be a silly example, Michael, but if your team is already all set and those are the only people you're ever going to talk about, well, then you don't need us, right? If you only want to sell to one kind of customer or those kinds of customers, I doubt that that's the case. That's why I'm saying it's a silly example from my side. If you feel like, no, those are your early alphas. Those are your early betas. All the better. Do you want to scale your business? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Do we need help turning this from a, $300,000 XYZ product business into a $300 million business? That's what you should be thinking about. Okay. So if you want scale, if you want that business acumen, if you want large target markets, that's the way to do it. So I honestly, the more involved you are with your business, the more involved you are with customers, the better off you're doing, for sure, all day long. All right. Okay. Samira, I think, is Samira gone by now? I think Samira's gone. Okay. I missed the beginning of this meeting. What is the program name again? Or are we talking about several programs? Really just the accelerator today. But you know, we obviously, I'm happy to talk about anything that we do at the Simone Center, of course. Any other questions? Anything? Get your applications in. Go ahead, Juan.
What sort of financial figures or graphs will you be looking for during the presentation, i.e. like
great.
a 5-year cash in, cash out, or obviously the
Yeah,
business
there
model?
you go. Yep. What is called an income statement or profit and loss statement. It is absolutely one of the things you should be thinking about, right? You know, and you'll be able to do this out of your head at some point, right? Here's the revenue. Here's the, if it's a software company, cost of revenue. If it's a hardware company, more cost of goods sold, right? So here's our revenue. Here's our COGS. Here's our gross profit. Here's how we're going to run the company, right? Sales and marketing activity, research and development, general and administrative. Samira's back. Okay. Hello, Samira. In general, that's what we're looking for. We just want to see, how are you thinking about it? Is this a $3,000 a year part-time service business, or is it a $300,000 Q1 launch? We're selling $1,000 item to 300 people, and that's where that $300,000 in Q1 comes from. And this is how we're going to attack that market. And this is the sales and marketing money that needs to be spent to attack that market. That's what we're looking for, Juan. It's called an income statement or a profit and loss statement. You can look that up. Lots and lots of templates. Quite frankly, as an instructor, let me just tell you, if you're not familiar with what an income statement or profit and loss statement is, there's actually a really great video, short, but there's a really great primer on Khan Academy, KHAN, Khan Academy. Really great. If you put in Khan Academy income statement, nice quick video, probably like 13 minutes. Totally good primer. And by the way, as an educator, totally do that. Is it sufficient? No, it's probably not enough eventually, in 6 months from now for you, but it's enough. Yep. Samira, I totally get it. That's all right. We will send you the link and you can watch the link at your convenience. Totally get the Wi-Fi problem. No problem. Okay.
Just to follow up on that.
Yeah.
I've taken 2 accounting courses here. The first 2, accounting 110, 210,
yep,
or 220 rather. And there were a bunch of different statements that eventually lead into the income statement. You're saying you just prefer like the general income.
We're just trying to get a sense of the scope and scale of your business. So Juan, you're already thinking ahead, which is totally great. You're thinking about like, hey, what are the cash flows that drive the income statement? What's our balance sheet look like? Here's the thing. If you can get me a 5-year pro forma P&L and a cat walking around your background, I feel like that's sufficient. I feel like if you could do okay. So it sounds like you already got one of them. That's good. I think in general, if you're just prepared mentally for, okay, I got it. They just want a pro forma P&L. That's all I really want. And again, you have more than that. If you can make a case that it's like, here's what I know, here's how I know it. One of the things that you'll all learn about me, John De Silva has gotten this experience before. I am fact-based. I am all about evidence. I don't care if we've got bad evidence. It just means that we're going to have to do something different. We're going to have to do it a different way, right? If Anna, let's just use a simple bakery example, right? If Anna only wants to sell donuts and nobody within 3 miles likes donuts, which would be silly, Anna, please tell me if you know a market of people that don't like donuts. But imagine, this is what a bakery draws from, and it's a 3-mile radius, and nobody here likes donuts, and everybody likes cookies. Well, first thing we're going to say, right, is, hey, Anna, can you make cookies? And Anna's going to say, sure. And we're going to be like, good, because that's what our market wants. So if you've got evidence, Juan, about, that you want to bring to the interview, by all means, but keep it simple. Keep it simple. We want to talk in facts. And the one thing that I know about the world, having done this for a long, long time myself in my own companies, is just bring me evidence. We can always deal with facts. They might not be great. We might not love what we say, but we're going to figure out a way around them. That's what we do. That's the skill set we're teaching. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. You got it. Thank you. All right. What else?
I got a quick question.
Go ahead, Connor.
So basically I'm one of the ones, I'm a 5th year mechanical engineering student. I'm one of the ones that falls under the boat where I'm gonna graduate and everything. For the summer term, do you know roughly when like the final cuts would be for that process? Because it's basically like when I'm looking at like full-time start dates,
Yep.
like it's like kind of around now. I was wondering like when roughly.
Can you ask that a different way? Are you saying I have a job offer and it starts on such and such a date? Can you just be more specific?
Yeah, so basically like I just interviewed for GM this last week. They're gonna give me
Yep.
an offer, right? And
Yep.
I have to choose the start date. So I was wondering
Okay. I see
for
what you're
this
saying.
program.
So you're
yeah,
saying if I decided to do this, I would do it in the summer. And if I did in the summer, then I have to tell GM my start date is August 25th.
yes, correct.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, that
So-
academic calendar actually is already available to us, of course.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what the date is off my head. Look at the summer academic calendar, and if
Yep.
you do the end of finals, I promise you we'll be done by that date.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sorry,
sounds
I don't
good.
have your name. I can't see it on my screen.
Connor,
Shoot
that's
me an
Connor.
email,
Connor Orcutt.
Connor.
Yeah, Connor.
Shoot me an email and I can give you an exact date if that's what you need for GM.
Okay. Yeah, it's really more the exact date of when you know if you're in the program.
Okay.
Too.
Oh, if you're in the program.
Yeah, because like
Well,
basically
I mean, so I will tell you, there are a couple things. If you're already inclined to tell me, and I don't mind that. I mean, you're being honest, and I appreciate the honesty. If you're already inclined to say, listen, I kind of want to work on the idea, but I also have a job offer. Are you know, what if we found out it was a really amazing idea? What are you going to do? Tell GM, sorry, I'm going to go do my own thing.
that's what I would do. Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
I mean, the thing is, like, I don't really owe them anything, really. I mean, I kind of fall under the boat.
I
You know
got
what I
it.
mean?
Okay, so you're saying you'd be in parallel advancing ideas. If this seemed like a go, you
That's the
might go
thing.
with it. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I'll have the backup, right? So
Yep, I
That's
got
like-
nothing wrong with having it. It's an interesting risk mitigation strategy. I got it. Yeah, so I think in general, you know, I would get that application in ASAP, like
Okay.
right away. Let's just see what the idea looks like. That way, I mean, well, I can also just give you a sense without even going to committee and just saying, yeah, an idea like this, I don't see the scale, you know, you know, I don't want to tell you not to take the start, because honestly, I don't want to cost you a summer's worth of making money.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if I could tell you, listen, in my experience, I don't know how many applications we're going to have, but this idea, it doesn't show scale. It doesn't show, you know, all of the things that it would need for you. I would make my start date May 15th. I'll give you my best advice.
Okay.
Get the materials in ASAP.
No, that's perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll always
Appreciate
give you an honest opinion. No problem. You know, and obviously we want people in the program. We want you in because even if you go to GM, you might someday say, hey, you know what? You know who's great? Those accelerator people. I went through that.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, that's how, you know, that's the ecosystem. That's good for you. We have people all the time that go into industry, that come back, that started in the accelerator, tried their own idea, didn't make it, went into industry, but they got hired in industry because they worked on their own idea. And then they come back and wind up coaching with us. So you never know. You know, I'm open. I'm an open-minded person. So.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. All right. So Samira did ask, any links to the programs on the RIT website? Evan, only because Samira has been in and out and I know how the chat works. Can you just put that link in there for the programs one more time?
I cannot. I can't see my chat.
That's okay.
If you can copy what I put up there.
You poor guy. Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
The Student Accelerator page, but from there you can see everything we do.
100%. All right, so I'm just going to do this, and I'm not going to do it just to Samira. I'm going to do it to everybody again. And then Samira, I want you to tell me that you could see that link. Samira, can you just put in the chat that, yep, I can see it? And just copy that. It's at rit.edu/research/Simone Center. Great. Copy that. You can start there. That's a good place to start for all of our programs. All right. Charles Beam, what year would you recommend applying for? Can you help me with what that means? Are you still here? Yep, there you are, Charles.
Yeah, I'm here.
What does that mean?
So basically, like, would you recommend this more for like sophomores, juniors,
Oh,
or like, I guess second, third years, fourth years?
I got to tell you, Charles, great question. So we're going to give you everything you need. Do I have some people, true story? I've met these people at open houses, okay? So Simone Center does an open house in a traditional year where there's lots of big gatherings, right? We do it in a field house. We meet people. True story, Charles. Young person comes up to me and says, yeah, I'm just graduating from, just graduated last year from high school. I'm a freshman. Comes up with his dad. He and his dad are like, hey, we have a patent on this thing, and my son wants to work on such and such. I was like, I mean, it was an amazing idea. And he had already worked on it with his dad. They were already working on the idea. It was like, so I don't like to constrain it by year. I think you're ready when you're ready. That's in fact, in a traditional accelerator model, just to kind of fill you in on what that term even means, is it's our job to take you where you are and accelerate you, literally like, oh, gotcha. And then like move you as fast as you can, because the world and the business world and the money world, it rewards action and speed, right? If it's such a great idea and now's the right time, let's go. If you're not ready for that, that's fine too. Maybe you need a little more discovery. Maybe you're not ready. So I don't want to tell you do or don't at a certain point. Do I feel like you really need to understand that it's not just an idea, that it's an actual I've thought through it. There's a business, there's a market. This is how customers do it today. This is why this would be better, not just better by 2x, better by 10x, because it's hard to move people off of what they do today, right? You got to convince them to do something new and different. And by the way, you're asking for their money and or their time to do something new. So that's quite frankly what I would say, in that regard, which is I can't tell you that it's like, oh, it's only for, a certain year or stage. It's like, that example of that person working on a satellite technology was an 18-year-old, hadn't even started classes. Like it was before the first week of classes. So how awesome is that? Like you're there when you're there. You're ready when you're ready. So as we like to say in the accelerator, the only thing that we won't do is accelerate you into a brick wall. As long as we're not accelerating you into a brick wall, we're doing our job. We want you to move as quickly as you can. And if we accelerate you into a no-go decision because you've learned over the cohort, time, well, that's okay too. That's allowed. Okay. So what do we got here? Panaki. So currently are the applications for spring or the current fall semester? Yeah, forget fall semester. Fall's over. We're looking at spring and summer. We're looking at spring and summer. Next two cohorts, spring and summer. Spring 2022, summer 2022. So that's, do we have to apply for a particular semester? Yeah, you cannot join in the middle. Absolutely not. Nope. So that's an easy one. So yeah, you have to basically again, the only way to say that, Panaki, is if you're serious, when you want to do this, when you can make the time, when you can pull your team together, when you can get your applications in. But you could absolutely right now apply for either the spring or the summer, or say, best available. Doesn't matter to us. That's up to you. All right, Samira, looking at the link right now, I'm wondering for spring 2022 versus summer 22, will this be online? How interesting. All right, Samira, how's your crystal ball? I wish I could tell you. I am an in-person human being. Online is fine. In-person is better. It just is from an instructor standpoint. My two classes this semester are in person. So I would like to believe that we will be in person, and I am planning on it right now until I hear different. So you need to be in residence. It is not online. It is in person. And that is how I'm planning, because I can at least plan for that and go online. I can't do the opposite. I can't plan online and then go in person. Okay. And that's fine. So far, only team is myself. That's fine. That's part of the job, Samira. And it's what we talked about earlier. You got to get some other people to work on your idea. You got to convince what I call the friend market, right? Get some people to kind of get on, get some other people on board, get them excited about your idea. Okay. Afraid the major will conflict with the program and my advisor might not approve the decision. Again, totally outside of my control. We control what we control, which is running the program. We have approval from RIT to run the program, for now the 11th year of the program. So we've been doing it a long time. Every department is different. Absolutely go to your academic advisor, co-op advisor, department head. Ask them ahead of applying. Don't spend a lot of time doing an application that nobody's going to approve. John DeSilva, you said in the beginning that we need to create a team, correct? Yes. Minimum of 2 people. There are no single person teams, period. End of story. No exceptions. It is a lot of work. 2 people, minimum. 3 people, ideal. 4 people, 3 to 4 is really an ideal. I'm not going to say 3 is better than 4, 4 is better than 3. There is a law of diminishing returns in such a speedy startup environment. So 3 is great. Honestly, 4 is better, in my opinion, but that's because I'm also a delegator and a general manager. So I'm going to be like, great, need you to do this, you to do this. This is why we're doing it. Let me take that. Let me backfill. Right. And by the way, the general manager, just so you know, is the person that answers to everybody. It's not the opposite. Just so you know. So when Thomas needs help, right, I might say, all right, Thomas, you're doing XYZ. Bester, you're doing ABC. Juan, you're doing, JKL. That's great. But when you guys are blocked, you got to come back to me, because if those things aren't getting done, guess who's doing, A, Z, and L? It's me, right? So remember, so you always think like, oh, CO's in charge. CO answers to everybody. General manager answers to everybody. So don't feel like that's the way out. In fact, that's the way into the most work. All right. So that's
actually,
yeah, go.
Happen to have a question for you. I think I have a block that you might be able to help with. So regarding the protection at the application stage for anybody, could you talk to me a little bit about, hey, look, you get through the application, you present your idea, and it's not up to par. Are we still afforded protections? What can we do to help improve it from there if it doesn't get approved?
Yeah, I mean, so the word protections immediately gets me into intellectual property. Your ideas are your ideas. The nice thing about an academic program is, you're already covered. If it's your idea and no one paid you to develop it, it's yours. Nobody at RIT. It's like we get fired if we even thought about taking an idea. It's like, that's not how we're built, right? Nobody's at RIT to steal your ideas. Nobody. So the idea is, and by the way, you're afforded those protections, generally amongst each other, because you disclose the idea, and it's clear that we have a record that you disclose the idea. In the application process, I can't even worry about I can't even worry about that without knowing, like, don't disclose the absolute secret sauce. Just say, I've got an idea. I've already tested this. I know people want we have a proprietary model. We have a proprietary blend. We have a proprietary formula. We have a, intellectual property method of acquiring new customers. Just say that. Don't put that stuff in your application. We'll ask you about it when we're live, and we'll do it verbally. And that's the way that transfer will happen. And honestly, if you don't get in, we encourage you, if you think it's exciting and you didn't make this cut, I guess that actually is a good way to answer Charles's question too, right? If you don't wait until the last minute, your last semester, your last opportunity to participate, if you don't wait till the last minute, then you've actually got a really good opportunity to reapply. Hey, I'm going to work on it a little bit more. I'm going to advance the idea a little bit more. And then you come back. Right? So does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. What else? We're actually, this is great. We went to 12:53 with a lot of questions because the questions were so good, honestly. So good for you. Thank you for doing that, everybody. All right. What else can I answer here? Anything? All right. So Brandy, I'm going to ask you, because normally I know we have a system of what I'll call a sign in and people that signed up. Can you do me a favor and make sure that the link is everybody that has signed in here? Do we have their email addresses so we can get the links out? Brandy? Evan,
I hear her door opening. Come in, Brandy.
Okay.
She's also having computer
Yeah, I
issues.
have the
I
same
know.
issues as him. Yeah, I have everyone's email that registered. So yes.
Okay, sounds good. So everybody here, we can get them the links. That way, you know, bad Wi-Fi could be Zoom. I mean, it's been weird today. So, and the whole week for that matter. So we will, you know, make sure these links get out. And then everybody that you could see here, right? Thomas Bester, Connor, Charles, Juan, Zinyi, Arsh, Anna, Toluwalas, Samira, John, Panaki, and Bashir. And then people that have been in and out. Those are all folks that you have on the list. Great. Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure that everybody that is here is captured somewhere so we can get you the links. And then you could forward them on to people that have an interest. Hey, I don't have a team yet, right? Let's just use Samira as an example. So Samira says, hey, you know what? You might be interested. This is the program I'm applying to. So here's my idea and here's the program. You know, you use this to recruit your other teammates if they want to watch something in their in the off time. So we'll, Brandy, we have another open house scheduled as well.
We have one in 2 weeks, but that's for a pitch deck for Tiger Tank.
Gotcha. Okay, got it. So ask questions. Get this over to your friends too. Does the other person also need to sign up for the program? You sign up as a team. That's the easy one. Yep, you sign up as a team. So let's just call it, you know, Samira Co. for a second. Samira Co. signs up with here are my three, you know, fellow, you know, teammates. Yeah, you got to find members. That's it. Yep, you got it. And that's the idea. Remember, I know Samira, maybe you cut out when I said this. There are really three markets. There's the friend market. Can I convince some people who like me to listen and spend a few weeks with me? If you can, then you can come up with an idea by interviewing potential customers and then convince the money market, raise enough money, even if it's just a small little tiny pre-seed round, friends and family round, put in your own check, right? And then eventually you can go deliver to customers because you're scaling a business. So it takes a long time. It's not easy, but it's completely worth it. I promise. I mean, like I wouldn't have my life any other way. So what else? Anything else? Anybody?
A recording of this will be amongst those links, right? That you're going to send out.
That is correct. Yes, Juan. Yep.
Thank you.
You got it. Anything else? Anybody?
Yeah, I see one last question. I guess to follow up with what you said about finding other people.
Yes.
I've often gotten emails from people just saying, I'm having an idea that I want to start up this type of thing. And then they just send it to random email students.
Right.
Would that usually work best? Or?
I would not do that. I would see, here's the thing. To me, the most important thing is the team. I'd rather hire the A team with a B idea than the A idea with the B team. So I would not be randomly looking for people that want co-op credit or randomly want, you know, a small little living stipend. Remember, this is not like, you know, pay. This is a living stipend. You know, it goes through payroll, but it's a small amount of money relative to, you know, a different kind of a co-op. But it's because you're working on your own idea. There's nothing else like it. Nobody else will pay you to do it. So the reason I tell you that all of that, John, is that for me, I would want to hand pick, right? It's the old line, and I use it all the time in my own endeavors. I don't hire, I recruit. I want to go hand pick. I want you, and I'm going to convince them. That's what I want. I want the A team. I always want the A team. That's what I want. So that's the way I do it, John. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, you got it. Yeah. And by the way, you're incredibly charming. You're convincing. I get out there and I turn on the charm and I tell people what I was doing. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, honestly, think about it this way. How often do you want to respond to an email that looks like that, right? I'd rather go to my 5 friends and say, listen, I don't know who these people are yet, but I need you. And let's just call them Jim, Jane, John, right? And, you know, like, hey, friends, this is what I'm looking for. Any of you that are interested, love to hear from you. Do you know other people that you love and trust? And that's part of networking. That's a valuable skill. I'd start learning that today. That's what I would do. First come, first serve. Yes, Samira. First come, first serve. Yes. Does the program fill up quickly? Yes. Generally, those two things are true. It is a unique experience. And as I said, you know, I want you to I want you to experience this before you left. When I was a grad student, not that long ago, for a lot of you, it's probably before you were born. But when I graduated, whatever that was, 25 years ago, the reality is that this didn't even exist. This wasn't even a thing. If you would have said entrepreneurship back then, and not that it didn't exist back in the mid 90s, but you get the idea. People would have been like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just go get a job? And honestly, I got a lot of that. Like, why don't you just go get a job? And it's like, well, but it is a job if you start your own company. So to me, it was never one or the other. They were just different paths to making money, solving problems, helping customers, right? One of them allowed me to, with my control freak nature, to be in charge of my life. So that's why I do it, right? I like control. I'd rather make less money and have more control just by personality all day long. That's who I am. That's not for everybody. So, yep, first come, first serve. Yes. Does the program fill up quickly? Yes. Anything else? We're at 1 o'clock. So, well, we don't want you crying. I think that's good. Depending on where you are, get out there and start recruiting, Samira. All right. What else? We're at 1 o'clock. I want to make sure that everybody gets their questions in. What do you got? Anything? All right. Samir. So start talking with some coaches. Start, coming to the Simone Center if you're here. Make an appointment with Dana Wolcott. Look at the names on here. Reach out to some of these folks. Maybe maybe they need help with one of their ideas. You never know, right? Learn the process. The main thing you want to do out of this program is learn the process. You want to learn how to interview customers, get the voice of the customer into your product or service, iterate on it, produce a prototype, iterate on it again. So sometimes, the best opportunity is like, okay, I'm going to work on this first one with Thomas, with Bester, right? And you're going to just work on their idea. So don't always think that there's only one path to see. There's lots of ways to kind of think through this. So I wouldn't cry just yet. Don't cry just yet. All right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend. Be safe. Take good care of yourselves. Reach out if you need anything. We will send out these links. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Be good.
Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Y'all have a
you.
good weekend.
Absolutely. You too.
too.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Ooh, I'm starting to see more now.
Me too.
Oh, are you?
Me too.
Well, there you go. Yeah, great. All right.
I got a chat notification. Bye,
So I
everyone.
got 23.
Yeah, there you go. See? Bye.
So
Bye,
weird.
Samira. Thank you.